my lovely Flosstube friends. Where have I been? Oh, what am I like? I am so sorry, everyone. I keep trying so hard to be able to do everything, and I'm not able to do everything, so apologies. So what to apologise for? So first of all, massive thank you for everyone's lovely comments and condolences for losing my little friend Chester, my little fur baby. I haven't managed to answer everybody's comments as yet. It's just been so crazy, ridiculously crazy. I'm back into London 4 days a week. When I'm not at work, even when I'm working from home, it's been super busy with work, so I'm really struggling with time. And of course, it's spring, which is like super exciting. So I don't know about you, but as soon as a little bit of warm weather comes in or some sunshine comes in, it spurs me into action. So, you know, I've been spring cleaning, or as best I can. You know, husband's decided he wants to do a little bit more DIY because, you know, we couldn't possibly go without just a little bit of dust. So there's lots of that going on, as well as, I wouldn't say I'm an avid gardener, not as yet, because obviously with all the building work that keeps going on, I can't really do that much with the garden. But I have been making some flower beds and bits and pieces, so there's been like loads of action on the weekends, sort of out in the garden, and you know, at the garden centre with my mum. We do love a good trip out on the weekends to the garden centre. So yeah, so lots of flowers and shrubs being bought, a little spot of, you know, potting, and so again, that doesn't leave any time for stitching, as well as obviously your everyday boring stuff such as housework and washing and yada yada. So that's all rather boring. But in saying all that, that will be the reason that I've not really achieved much of anything. I've not been able to keep up on Facebook. I've not been able to keep up on Instagram. I've not been able to keep up on YouTube and the Flosstube. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I really watched Flosstube. I mean, every now and then I've like watched the odd one video and then put a quick comment on, but that is it. So I am so sorry. But as you know, life has to move on, life has to happen, and you know, this is my hobby, so where I can get my hobby in, then I do, but everything else still has to happen. So apologies for everyone that's been posting videos, and if you haven't seen any comments from me, it's not that I've dropped off the face of the earth, it's just that I've been so busy. So I'd love to say that I'm going to try and catch up on Flosstube, but with how much I've missed, I don't even know that I can. So we'll have to wait and see how we get on with that. Hopefully the spring cleaning will calm down, and the gardening, well, that's just going to take off. So that's another thing for me to worry about. But other than that, health is fabulous. My little furry friends, if you hear the odd little grunt and groan, that will be Fudge. He's down in his respective place down here, down by the side of me. But he's letting me know that he's really quite bored and fed up with mum working and not going out and playing ball. So if you hear the odd groan, it's because he's letting me know that he's really bored. So anyway, this is a short and sweet video. It was basically just to say hello to everyone. I hope you're all doing okay. I'm going to try to make a start on some of the videos, but we'll have to wait and see how we get on with that. Like I said, stitching has been almost non-existent as such. So we'll start with the whips. Now, there isn't very much to show you on the whips because I haven't really been doing anything. So I will show you what I have done, which, like I said, is not a lot. So because of the fact that the stitching's been non-existent in the evenings, because I'm so tired when I get in from work, I've basically tried to stay with what's really shouting at me, so that way I don't sort of think, oh, I don't want to work on that one, because I'm really struggling to work on anything. So right now it's about, well, whatever I'm feeling the love for is what I'm going to stitch. The rotation just basically has gone out the window once again. So the one that I've basically worked on and almost stayed on for ages has been my lovely Grace Faces, my Josephine Wall. Still totally love this one, and it's just such an easy stitch for me at night time, because it's a bigger count. So it's a 18 count magic guide, and I got a page finish. Woohoo! Hasn't like took forever, but then it is rather confetti heavy, so I I'm probably right now showing you a picture of where you saw it last time. If I'm not, it's because I couldn't find one. And this is where we got to. So here it is. And as you can see, I've managed to actually get a page finish over here. This side here is almost a page finish, but I just couldn't bring myself to do any more on it. It was sort of like I was loving it, and then it was like, right, now I really do need to switch out. But I think it's looking fabulous, and I'm loving the colours. It's just such a vibrant, colourful pattern to do. So yeah, so I'm really, really pleased. Although I'm not really pleased that I haven't been getting as much stitchy time in as I would really like, I absolutely am over the moon and thrilled that I've focused on this one and feel like I've actually made some headway on it. So yeah, so that's my QS Grace Faces. So like I said, that's pretty much all I've stitched on, other than my fully finished object, which I do have one. Woohoo! It's an FFO, it's fully finished object. The only snag is I can't show it to you in person because it's been stitched, it's been finished, and it's gone off to the person that it was for. So, but I'll show you that one in a minute. So the next one that I'm working on, which is currently what's just come out, is my lovely lady, my Mirabilia, Roses of Provence. Again, she is the labour of love. I haven't really achieved much of anything because she's only came out like the last couple of days. And this is where we're at. So from last time where you saw her, I think there's just a little bit more action here. Let's get a bit closer for you. Oh, you have to excuse all this. Look at the state of it. So disorganised. So yeah. So I went on to a lovely Skype call with Donna Murray, because we haven't, I mean, that's the point. I haven't even had a chance to do Skyping. So I haven't talked to anyone, I haven't communicated with anyone. In fact, I have a huge apology to make to all of my stitchy friends that I went to see earlier on in the year at the stitching retreat. We had a chat group, the Mad Chatters. Ladies, I am so sorry. I know I've disappeared off the face of the earth. There's nothing against you. I just don't have time. I haven't got time to be on Messenger. I haven't got time to even be on Facebook. There's been so much going on in my everyday life that I haven't managed anything. So I hadn't managed to even Skype with Donna Lover. But we managed to get a quick Skype in, I think it was last week. And I was talking to her about what to do next. And I sort of said, the problem with this Provence, the Roses of Provence, is the dress is overwhelming me. It's huge. And every time you think you've made some headway, there's just so much more of it to do. And she came up with a really good idea and said, well, because you've done so much of the dress and so that you don't get despondent with it, maybe go up and start doing some of her skin. Because I am contemplating doing the 1/1. I know that Donna said that, you know, she said she found it really quite time consuming and laborious, because it goes on and on and on and on, and I was like, oh, please don't tell me that, it's just gonna put me off. But like she said, the effect that it gives is it's worth it, she said. But she said, so if anything, probably the best thing to do is start on the skin but leave some skirt anyway, so that way you can switch between the two when the skin really gets too much for you and you fancy a change. But to be honest, the dress is a bit too much for me, because the dress just seems to want to go on forever. I mean, I keep looking at it and thinking it's going to be absolutely humongous, but the dress itself is the biggest part of it. So I'm rather hoping that if I can get myself down to, if I show you closer, there we go. If I can get myself to sort of here, I can start on the bushy thing. And then I was thinking, well, maybe if I can work my way up on this as well, that gives me something else. So if the dress gets a bit boring and the body gets too much with the 1/1, then I've got something else to be focusing on. So the way I'm going with this, I'm just going to be putting bits all over it. But I think I might actually sort of do what Donna said and go back up and start on the body or the skin on the 1/1, just to break this up a little bit, because it is. I mean, I knew she was going to take me a long time, but if I'm honest, I didn't realise she was going to take me this long. So, but yeah, so obviously this one's only just come back out again. So, you know, like I said, there's barely anything on there that you haven't already seen. But I have done a tiny bit on her. And she is my one that's staying out now for a little while. So we will see how we do with her. And whether I get so bored that I need to try and attempt the 1/1 with the skin. So that is it on the whip side. Fully finished object. Yay! At last! You remember from one of my videos, there was a Mr. and Mrs. wedding sampler that I needed to do for my nephew, because my nephew was getting married. I put about, I don't know, 50 stitches in it, and then just sort of left it. It was in here in my study, and I kept thinking, oh, I'll do it during my lunch hours and when I'm, you know, doing bits and pieces at home. But I never got round to it because work's been super busy. And then the next thing I knew, we got to just before the bank holiday weekend, and I was thinking, oh, I've got lots of stitching that I can do on the bank holiday. 4 days of stitching. And then when I've had a little look, the wedding was the following week. So I was thinking, oh no, because I've still got to get it framed. So I actually spent 2.5 days straight working on it to finish it, because I was running against the clock, and I still had to get it to the framers to get it framed and get it finished. So this is the pattern, you'll remember, the Mr. and Mrs. And like I said, I'd switched out the colours slightly, so what it looks like on this pattern is not actually how I wanted it to be. I'm going to insert a video now of the fully finished, and which I basically done the video like super quickly in the morning, because I sent it to the framers midweek. He had it back to me by the Saturday, so literally done a turnaround on it on, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. He turned it around. I picked it up at 11 o'clock on Saturday, and I was driving up to Lincolnshire by 4 o'clock the same day. So that's how tight it was. Talk about leave everything to the last minute and to the wire. So I'm going to insert the video now to show you the fully finished object, so that you can see that I have actually got a fully finished object of which I haven't actually got. So here it is. Okay, so once again we're down to the wire. So this got completed and came back from the framers today. Hence the reason why it's still all wrapped in bubble wrap. But this is my fully finished wedding sampler for this evening. It took me 2 full days to do it in the end, because I left it right to the last minute. It's done on 28 count opalescent. I don't know if you can see the sparkles. Let me see if I can get you to see the sparkles. There you go, you can see a little bit of sparkle. Again, I've done it with the non-reflective glass, so that when they're hanging it, it's non-reflective. So yeah, another finish of which goes to someone else. But I'm really, really pleased again with the framer and how he's framed it. I think it looks fabulous. Now I need to go and get myself ready, because I look terrible, because I've just been running around all day sorting stuff out and buying bags for the stuff, for the frame and cards. And now I've got a 2-hour drive to get to the wedding. But yeah, so fully finished wedding sampler. I love it. So I'll add this to the video. So see you later. Bye. Okay, so there you go. I was super excited about my fully finished, and I hope they loved it. Love them. Obviously, I haven't heard back from them as yet as to you know what they think of it. It's the only trouble when you give something away to someone else. It's like you don't know that it's going to be their type of thing, but they're rather young, and because it's quite a modern design, I managed to get my sister to sort of give me a rough idea of, like, you know, do they have, you know, what wood do they have in their house, or do they have anything white? So I've got a rough idea, and I've basically made it in accordance with what I've been told. So yeah, so I've got 2 whips, obviously, one with a page finish. I've got my lovely lady that's back out to play. There's not really much else to say. I did do a little purchase, so you'll all know that obviously now that I'm back in London, I'm super busy, and I was thinking, you know, I'm sitting on a train doing nothing. I really do need to start cracking on now that I'm sort of starting to feel more myself. So I decided to buy a new Q-snap, and this is a real Q-snap, not one of those R&Rs that we get here in the UK. This is a original Q-snap, which I've got to be honest, it's cute. I didn't realise the difference between the Q-snap and the R&R. So one of the differences that I've noticed is how tight these are. These are like really tight on the Q-snap, which is amazing, which is now I know how everyone gets their tension on their Q-snaps, because mine was always loose and floppy. As well as it's got on the inside, I don't know if you can see this, it's got like little grids on the inside. There you go, you can just see it there, look. These grids. You don't get that on the R&R. Well, not on the ones that I've got. But by having that, I can imagine that it holds the fabric much, much better. So obviously this has only just turned up, so I haven't actually put it into action or used it as yet. But I purchased this from, I think it was Cross Stitch Haven or Cross Stitch Heaven. And I ordered it. It did take quite a while to get here though. So I was waiting and waiting and really wanted to sort of get cracking with it. But it literally only turned up last night when I got home from work. But what I ordered with it was I got the 9x9 Q-snap, because I thought that's a good size to work on the train. I don't need to sort of, you know, stretch myself out and lean all over everybody. But what came with it was a Q-snap cover and a special matching bag that goes with it, which I thought was great. So now, when I'm travelling into London and I'm, you know, really bored on the train, of which is a nightmare at the minute because it's so busy you can't even get seats. If I'm lucky, I get a seat and I'll be able to stitch. If I'm not, I'll have to stand, of which I can't stand and stitch. So, but there's my little cover, and then it fits in this lovely little baggie, like so. So now I officially have a travelling project bag. I just need the project to go in it. Always helpful. So yes. So I've got a lovely little bag. I'm really, really looking forward to putting this Q-snap to trial. With the fact that it's super tight, everything seems nice and taut, which will help with my fabric tension, I think. What else to tell you? Oh, my very, very lovely friend, Mary Perkins. She's not a Flosstuber, not yet. Come on, girl, get on with it. But she went to the Stitchy retreat, and she's a really, really lovely lady. I helped her out when she was doing her Heaven and Earth designs, and she for some people I know that parking is a massive issue, and for her she was really struggling with the concepts around it. So we went on to a Skype call, and I tried to demonstrate how I did it, and basically said, don't overthink it. If you start overthinking parking becomes really, really difficult. So I basically showed her my way of doing it, and she was like, oh, I get it now. And I was like, it's just simplification. I said, just simplify it. Just imagine it, make it as simple as possible for what works for each person. So what works for me won't necessarily work for everyone else. But if you give someone the concept of how you do it, they can then, once they've got your idea of it, they can then work out what works for them. So love her. I showed her how to do her parking, and she's doing an amazing job. So every time I see like bits and pieces on Facebook, and like she sends me little messages on Messenger of like all her progress, and she does some amazing stitching. Well, part of it, obviously, she calls me the simplification queen now, because I simplified it for her. And love her, she had a pattern, and she's been so nice enough to gift me a design by Lisa, which is Stitch Designs by Lisa, and it's called The Art of Simplification, which I thought was just so lovely. It says, master the art of simplicity and every day will be beautiful. So here it is. And I think that was great. The fact that she calls me the simplification queen, and she sends me this beautiful chart of the art of simplicity. So Mary, thank you so much, and I can't wait to get started on this chart. So I'm going to put this chart on this, and I'm going to stitch this. So, and it's going in my project bag as we speak. So, but massive thank you for my little gift. I really, really appreciate that. And I love all the work that you're doing. You're doing a great job. Okay, that's it. told you it was short and sweet. We've gone from really long videos to like super short ones. So thank you so much again, everyone, for all your wonderful comments. I can't thank you enough for everyone that sends me these lovely comments, but I have no idea how I'm going to answer you all, because I still haven't answered the comments from the last video. So where I can, I will squeeze them in, and where I can't, please don't think that I'm ignoring you. I am reading them. It's just finding the time to actually respond. And obviously you know that I do like to respond individually to every comment. I don't like to just go, yeah thanks, or repeat everything that I've said on another one. So I do like to keep it very personal. But by keeping it very personal, again, it's one of those things where you've got to have the time to be able to do that. So please still comment. Just because I haven't answered doesn't mean I haven't seen it, and I do thank you from the bottom of my heart, but I'm really struggling with time. And I'm sure you all sort of would agree, for everyone that does Flosstube videos, they know how time consuming it really is. It's not just a short and sweet thing. You know, by the time you've made the video, done the editing, uploaded it, that in itself is a mission. And then when you get the comments, to then answer all of those comments, that's a lot of time. And that's a lot of time that's took away from the stitching and more about the actual getting the videos going. So that, on top of the fact that you've still got life and you've still got everything else going on, it sometimes, if the time isn't there, it's the videos or the comments, like answering the comments, that slows up. So I will answer them as fast as I can and as and when I can. You know, if you don't get an answer from me, I'm not ignoring you. I promise. But I do love doing my videos. But it is the amount of time that it takes up to actually do them, and then continue the level of control with making sure that you've answered everyone. So, but thank you so much, everyone, and I hope you're all having a wonderful year so far, and you're getting lots of stitchy time in, and that the spring isn't doing what it's done for me, where it's creating the fact that you need to be out in the garden, you need to do your spring cleaning, and all of a sudden the sun comes out and there's all these things you have to do. But I hope you're all having a wonderful time. And I will see you again in a month. And hopefully I'll have a little bit more to show. So take care for now. Bye, everyone.